This video isn't about power scaling Kiryu or anything like that. It's simply a shower thought that I turned into a video. All I'm here to do is try to find out whether or not the Tiger Drop could negate a Kamehameha and counter it, and why it could do it. I'm sure I don't need to introduce the Kamehameha to you, but what even is the Tiger Drop, if you don't already know? It's a counterattack used by Kiryu Kazuma that can be triggered right before an enemy attack lands. This could be leaping attacks, kicks, punches, super attacks, spinning, tiger swipes, almost anything physical. I feel like the things Kiryu can't counter are purely for balancing, like sometimes you just can't hit enemies that are too low, or maybe it's because the counterattack is usually directed towards the solar plexus, but that wouldn't make sense because he can counter drop tigers. So the reasons why this move is so highly regarded is not only because of how rewarding it feels to pull off, but because of the damage and the fact that in the games where the move is good, it negates all damage. This damage negation is something very important to consider because it means that anything Kiryu counters can't hurt him at all. You might also think that this video is stupid because the Tiger Drop doesn't work on range attacks, but it kinda does. I've seen people say that in Yakuza Kiwami you can Tiger Drop bullets, and I couldn't get any footage of this because Arase just stared at me the whole time. Something relating to bullets that you can Tiger Drop in Yakuza Kiwami is, well, it's the people with guns. Enemies with guns can be Tiger Dropped, and their guns don't even have to be aimed at Kiryu. All they have to do is pull the trigger, and then you can counter them. This means that the act of firing a gun near Kiryu counts as an attack. It is a literal attack on him. He can still Tiger Drop it. So the Tiger Drop is a counterattack that when used successfully can negate all damage, and it doesn't even have to be aimed at physical attacks on Kiryu. But can it counter the Kamehameha? Technically, yeah. If you take the logic that I just talked about with enemies with guns and you apply it to people who use the Kamehameha or any other beam attack, then Kiryu can counter them when they fire the attack, and when he's in point blank range while they fire the attack. But that's on the user of the Kamehameha, and it's not really a satisfying answer. So what about the actual beam attack? Kiryu has fought against people with lasers before, and usually they insta-kill him or they can't be countered in any way. What makes the Kamehameha different from these laser beams is that it is made out of ki. Ki is the life energy of Dragon Ball characters. They use it to get strong, fly, heal, etc. Most importantly, they use it to create attacks or weapons. Blades, beams, balls of energy. Ki blades cut through people, ki blasts can be held, and ki beams, like the Kamehameha, can be blocked and interacted with. These are important examples because it means that ki is a physical thing. So that means the Kamehameha is made of not only life energy, but it manifests as a physical beam attack. This means that Kiryu can Tiger Drop it because he can physically touch it. Range isn't even an issue because Kiryu can lock on pretty far away, but the Tiger Drop doesn't technically need a lock on to be activated. In the games, you have to hold R1 before you're able to activate it, and while R1 does make Kiryu lock onto enemies, what it's really doing is making him take a fighting stance, which he can just do anywhere. Range isn't an issue, but one of the problems that Kiryu deals with when countering the Kamehameha is that it's a continuous attack. Kiryu can deal with continuous attacks and chain Tiger Drops one after another, but with the Kamehameha, he'll have to instantly Tiger Drop over and over again. And I mean back to back, no rest. If Kiryu is hit once, it's over. Since I've been using Kiwami Kiryu as an example, once this guy gets hit by a continuous attack, it's over. He has other counters to get around this, but since this video is just about the Tiger Drop, we won't talk about those. You might think that Kiryu can't instantly Tiger Drop and the iframes would wear off, but that's not really true. In this gameplay footage here, I'm just spamming the Tiger Drop over and over again, and even though I'm not hitting Majima, I'm still negating all the damage. You can see that iframes don't really matter and a cooldown doesn't really matter because Look at that. Also, look at that activation range. I'm not even near Majima, and I can still Tiger Drop his attacks. But this is another problem. Even if Kiryu Tiger Drops the Kamehameha, he would do no damage because it's a range move. Kiryu would negate all the damage, but then Goku would take no damage because Kiryu's at a distance. Unless Kiryu is off to the side, then he can Tiger Drop and do damage. What I think would really happen if Goku fired a Kamehameha and Kiryu was able to Tiger Drop it is that they would have a beam struggle. In this footage here, you can see that every time I Tiger Drop near Majima, I get closer to him. This also applies to people who have guns. If you Tiger Drop them and you're kinda far away, you would inch closer to them. So if Goku and Kiryu really did clash, I imagine that Kiryu would inch closer every single time he pulled off a Tiger Drop, and it'd be like Kid Buu pushing back the Spirit Bomb. And before you get all mad,
Well, Kiryu's not even that strong. Goku's way stronger.
this isn't about power scaling. Let's just say for this video they're equal, alright? TLDW, yes, Kiryu can Tiger Drop the Kamehameha, but he would have to put in some serious work, just constantly hitting that shit back. Honestly, the main reason I made this video is because I'm really excited about Sparking Zero, and I needed a reason to pivot my content to that for a while. Anyway, that's it. Bye.
真ん中にいるのがあなたでしょうか。うまい絵だな。
Simple.
見ろよ。
Please subscribe so I can bring back the older outro. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to see Bibbidi Da Kiryu anymore, but hey, that's up to you.
The Japanese guy, what the fuck is happening? Tiger